So in true Mangs and Mecha fashion, we're going to be rating the units, starting off with the one, the only, Sigurd, the Night Lord of Chalfie. And Jake has made some absolutely beautiful stat screens for this. Thank you so much, Jake. And yeah, let's talk about Sigurd. Best unit in the game, maybe? 5 out of 5 stars?
Easy. He's like the I'd say he's like either the third or the second best unit in the series, probably.
Yeah, so Sigurd, he's fantastic. So many new players will look at Sigurd and they'll go like, ew, you get a pre-promote as your main character. Yes, he is pre-promoted, but in Fire Emblem 4, levels work a little differently to what you might be otherwise be used to. Units will actually level to 30, and they'll promote to 20. So treat Sigurd as a unit like that just gets his promotion earlier, before everyone else. He has insane bases. His growth rates are pretty good because he comes with Holy Blood. This is one of the pivotal mechanics of Fire Emblem. I can't remember the key. There you go. So he has Major Baldur Holy Blood, which boosts his growth rates. So
it's on the stat screen anyway.
It's on the stat screen. Not only will Sigurd start out amazing, but he'll grow pretty good as well. Experience gains are pretty generous in Fire Emblem 4, even for high-level units, so it's easy to level up even strong units.
I disagree.
I find that they are. At least compared to rating, but we just played the Tailtiu's game, so everything feels generous in terms of experience.
Fair enough.
So yeah, Sigurd, he pretty much one-rounds every single generic enemy on this map, except for some of the higher-level ones. And he can also go up against the bosses really easily. Like, he just massacres. Like, he can solo the first generation with ease. He gets a silver sword at the end of this chapter, or right before the end of this chapter. That just makes him even better. And he's just a wonderful unit. Like, fantastic. 5 out of 5 stars. Easily one of the best units in the game. Really makes the first generation a lot of fun to play.
Yeah, saying Sigurd can solo the first generation is like almost an insult because anyone in Gen 1 can solo the generation apparently. I've tried it, I've done it. But Sigurd...
He can do it easier than anyone else.
Yeah, Sigurd can do it super easily because he's just so powerful off the bat. He one-rounds the first enemy you face, and that's just a sign for the whole game to come. Basically, he has a 110 HP growth, so he's guaranteed to get HP, and then like a 10% chance to get plus 2 HP. 50% strength growth is insane, 50% skill growth is insane. 30% speed is like mediocre for other games, but his speed base is so high that he doubles just about everything. Even when he's using lances, funnily enough, like when he uses swords, he's fast on everything anyway, and that goes for 90% of the cast, because swords generally only weigh about 3, some weigh like 5 or 6. But that's still faster than almost every enemy out there. But even when he uses lances, he has 0 speed, it doesn't matter. He still doubles everything in this chapter and pretty much everything after. You can even make 1-2 range weapons work, even though they're kind of garbage in this game.
Yeah.
So yeah, stupidly good. He's also very bulky, 35 HP at base and 90 defense. I think he gets like 3 or 4 hit killed in this chapter. He dodges pretty reliably because the weapon triangle is like 20% in this game, so axes pretty much cannot hit him. He has a free leadership star, which gives him and everyone around him 10% avoid. I think he has 2 stars, but you don't get any points for the first star, so it's everything beyond.
10% for 2 star, 20% for 3 star.
Yeah, it's 10% extra for every star beyond the first. It's a stupid system, but it works. And I think it's because Oifi has like 2 years of training or whatever.
I think so,
yeah. It's very bulky. He gets the Holy Turfing in Chapter 5, which is also pretty good when it comes. But he's good with every single sword out there. He's super good. 5 stars.
Then, we'll start with the Red Knight, Noish. Noish. He is a Cavalier. Despite that, like, he's got a mount, which is nice. In this game, units with mounts are pretty much king, because you got Super Canto in this game, which allows you to not only move after you attack, it also allows you to trade and change your own equipments after you attack, which is just ridiculous. Despite that, though, I mean, Noish is not a fantastic unit. In Fire Emblem 4, in order to double, you need the skill called Pursuit. If you don't have Pursuit, you won't double, regardless of how fast you are, except if you have another skill that lets you attack more times, or if you have a Brave Weapon. Noish doesn't have Pursuit, which is a huge issue for him. You do get a Pursuit Ring later on in the chapter. You can give it to him if you want him to do well, but I think this is a big investment for Noish. He's pretty durable, and he hits pretty hard, but his inability to double attack just makes him so hard to get kills with. You pretty much have to set kills up for him if you want him to do well, or send him into the arena, and he'll do decently in some arenas, but he'll get massacred if he comes up really high. Yeah, he's just not fantastic, but he's on a mount, so I think I'm going to rate Noish 3 stars. I think that having a mount, like, at least warrants you that, but combat-wise, he's not spectacular. He will be the father of one of the kids in the 2nd generation, though, so training him up and giving him some good weapons is probably a good idea. He does not have any Holy Blood.
Okay, so I like Noish quite a lot just because he joined so early and he has a mount, so that basically makes him good in my book. The skill set he has is like interesting, but not as good as Sigurd's, ironically enough, even though Sigurd's only skill is double attack, just like normal. But Noish has critical and charge or a cost. I think in this patch it's called a cost.
Yeah.
And both of those are unreliable, but they work sometimes. So occasionally Noish will just one-round something, but most of the times he won't. Cavalier is kind of like... in this game, like they have B swords and then C lances, and then when they promote to paladin, they get B lances. So you can use both kind of hero weapons, brave weapons, and they're really good in this game when he promotes. I guess access to the brave sword is kind of nice for him. Pursuit ring works as well, kind of fixing. He's not great, but just having a horse in this game makes such a huge difference. Like this is not just mecha like jerking off over mounted units or anything. Like in this game, like the maps are so big.
Yeah.
If you don't have a horse, like every turn you're gonna fall behind by like 4 squares because road tiles and the size of the maps is just so enormous.
And Super Kanto. And Super
Yeah.
Kanto. Do not forget Super Kanto. It's so good.
It is nice to just be able to re-equip a new weapon after. Although, I don't know if Noish will ever have more than one good weapon.
Probably not.
We'll see. We'll see. I think, like, training him just because he's a dad, I think that's a little bit of a pitfall, honestly. I don't really think you should train units just because they're dads or mommies or whatever. Just leaving them at base levels a lot of the times easier. But for you, you have to take care of the XP ranks.
Yeah.
So you have to train Noish. You have to train everyone. So, and Noish, I don't think he'll be particularly hard to train just because of the mount and his flexibility. But he's kind of annoying to train sometimes. So I think 3 stars is fair. I'm considering 4 stars just because of how available and how mounted he is. But I think for now we're going to say 3 stars and we'll leave it to him to prove me wrong.
Yeah, just 2 things that I forgot to mention. Female paladins actually get staves, male paladins don't, so male paladins are just worse. And charge, if anyone is wondering, like, it's very complicated. It procs based on your HP. If you have a lot of hit points compared to the enemy, it has a bigger chance to proc. It can, theoretically, proc up to 15 times, but...
Oh, it says 20.
20, yeah.
I've never seen
But
like
the
2.
chances of this happening are so astronomically small. I don't think anyone has ever seen it happen. But because I think it's a percentage chance to proc after like a percentage, so it just gets lower and lower and lower.
Yeah, it can only proc when Noish has 25 HP or more, according to Serena's Forest.
Yeah.
And then the chance to proc it is like his attack speed minus enemy's attack speed plus his own HP divided by 2.
It's really, really weird.
Good luck calculating it.
Yeah, no. Alec, the first time me and my friends played this game, I will never forget his initial reaction to Alec. He just looks at him and he goes, "Why is that guy wearing toilet paper on his head?"
His head got toilet papered.
And now I can't unsee it. So yeah, Alec, he's the Green Cavalier. He's faster than Noish. He's a little bit less durable than Noish. But he has one thing that Noish doesn't have. He has Pursuit. Not only does he have Pursuit, he also has Nihil, which negates enemy skill, which you'll rarely actually ever get to see in this game. I mean, there's like a couple of enemy bosses. I don't think it negates Great Shield, it just negates sword skills, effective damage, and critical hits, I think. So you'll almost never see this skill. It is nice to pass down though for some kids, but as far as Alec, he'll seldom get any usage out of it. There's like one really scary boss in Chapter 3 that has crit, but Alec is seldom strong enough to take him on anyway. But Pursuit is nice. It means he can attack twice, so he'll do a lot more damage than his red buddy. So, but I still only rate Alec 3 stars, just because, you'll see after a while. Like, Alec and Noish are just really hard to train, I find. Despite being mounted, despite having good availability, their stats are just not good enough compared to what you get later on in the game, and I just find both of them to fall off so incredibly quick, unless I really go in to train them by giving them really good gear. They just don't get anywhere on their own, I find. You really gotta give them special treatment to make them good, and even then, you only get like 2 pretty decent paladins. So there's just so many good units joining after a while, so... But yeah, I think 3 stars is fair for Alec.
Yeah, I like Alec a lot, actually, for, someone perceived to be as weak as he is. He's actually pretty good, I think. I don't know if I'd give him 4 stars. I'm still considering 3. A lot of people think that Alec is weak just because of what he does in the early chapters, and you're like, wow, his damage output is shit. But that's because most of the time people just don't give him a better sword than his iron sword. So, of course, he's gonna look weak after a while. But he can use a steel sword, he can use a brave sword, and with those he does actually some pretty decent damage. He can also use lances to do more damage. He can use javelins if you want to. And he can use a brave sword to hit 4 times, which is also pretty good. I know anyone is good with the brave sword, but still, he has it available, so sometimes it might be nice to have Alec with like a really good weapon, and then someone like Sigurd can get away with using a worse weapon and still 1 round. So I think there's an argument for sometimes giving Alec some good gear to work with. You can also use a light brand after promotion kind of well, because Paladins actually get +5 magic or something after promotion, so he's actually pretty close to 1-rounding things with a light brand or like a thunder sword or something. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
But he's not super amazing, I will admit. But just the combination of a horse joining in prologue and pursuit is really good. So I am considering 4 stars, but for now, again, I'm gonna go with 3, and I'll leave it to him to prove him wrong. I have a video on both Alec, Noish, and Midir, who joins later. Actually,
yeah, I remember.
Pitfalls 4 somewhere. So while I'm here, I might as well plug that, I guess.
Yeah. And
yes, my favorite.
He's here. The meme is here. So, for those of you who only play Heroes, you might think, oh wow, this guy's really good, because like he's stupidly good in Heroes.
Ain't no way I'm gonna die.
But he is not very good here. Arden is very much a joke character. He is the original Meg. Even the developers are very aware of this. Just gotta point out, have you seen some of the official artwork of Arden? It is the most hilarious shit I have ever seen in my life. I'll post some on screen. I just like, there's a lot of official artwork of Arden, and it's like the artist went out of their way to draw him horrendously bad. It's just fucking wonderful. I love it. So Arden, you get a footlocked armor sword, the worst kind. Not only are you an armor knight, but you're locked to swords.
Hey man, swords are the best weapon in FE4. I know what you're talking about.
This is actually true. Yeah. But yeah, I mean...
Boom.
He has 5 move. He comes with 1 skill, Vantage, which when he's below 50%, he'll attack first. Yay. He can't double. He is not particularly good in combat. He doesn't even tank well, I find. And yeah, he's just terrible. Even the game makes fun of him. 1 star. I have to train him. It's going to be interesting to see how high I can get him up. I do need a General Arden in the 1st generation. I want everyone to promote, but this could be a very daunting task. We'll see if I can make it work or not.
Yeah, Arden is kind of funny. I soloed the game with him twice.
You are fucking insane.
It was actually so much fun, because at some point, he gets so much defense that the enemies just ignore him. So it actually becomes even more tedious than you think, because he has to like whack these enemies down 1 by 1. It's the stupidest thing ever. Swords, I think, are saving grace, actually. Like, I'd much rather have swords than axes or lances on him, because swords are pretty good. He has beast swords, so again, you can use a brave sword. You can use a pursuit ring later on, and it's not his to keep, because other people really want it, but he's the only one who can use it without paying like 40,000 gold for it, yeah. So I guess that counts for something. And that actually makes it pretty good in the arena, because even with the Iron Sword, he will double Axe enemies, he will double Lance enemies, because they're just so slow. So with the Pursuit Ring and maybe the Brave Sword sometimes in the arena, he can actually get pretty far, and some enemies don't do a whole lot of damage to him. So if you can get him to the front lines, he can do some damage. That, don't get me wrong, 5 move is 5 move. This guy is terrible. I'm just saying, it's not the worst thing ever. If you want to play really slow, he's actually not unusable. If you really want to make him work, you can make him work. But I gotta say, his accuracy is horrible. Like, he's using an Iron Sword, and his hit rate still doesn't hit 100%.
Yeah,
this is stupid.
That's pretty bad.
And this game has 1 RN, not 2 RNs, so he's often the times he's liable to just randomly miss somewhere. Yeah. It's super annoying. I'm still gonna give him 1 star. Like, far be it from me to give him anything higher than that when he's not mounted, but he's fun to use. He's one of my favorites.
He is a meme.
He's a funny meme. I like Arden. Anyway, that was it for this episode. We've been here for like 45 minutes, so bye.
Yeah, pretty much. Alex joins Mounted Hector right here.
Yeah.
This is one of my favorite guys from the 1st generation. I love Lex. Not only is he my favorite unit, like combat-wise, even though I know he's not very impressive. There's a secret event later that redeems him a lot, but I just like him. Again, he's Mounted Hector. How can you not love this guy? His base is pretty good. Yeah, he can't double. He doesn't come with pursuit, but as I said, there's a secret event in the next chapter that sort of takes care of that. But he hits pretty hard and he's very tanky. But one of my favorite aspects about Lex is that he comes with Paragon. It just doubles his experience gains, just makes it so easy for him to get to promotion. He also has Vantage, which, you know, not that great, but he passes it down. It's good on some kids. But yeah, I like Lex a lot. I think I'm gonna rate him 4 out of 5 stars. Because once you get the secret events, he hits really hard. He gets a Brave Axe out of it. which is more than enough to patch up his inability to double. And once he promotes, he just becomes a juggernaut. I really like him. He's also a really good father. He's so important for a lot of pairings. So just a really pivotal, important unit. I really like this guy.
Alright, I'm not sure entirely what to give him. I do like Lex overall. I think he's pretty good. He's like, as you said, he's very bulky. You might have noticed this in the game screen. It says his avoid is -6. That's because axes are super heavy in this game. They weigh 18.
Yeah.
With the exception of the hero axe, which weighs 12. That's going to be a really important axe for him later. But right now, he's not going to dodge anything. So he's just going to have to face tank everything. And he's bulky. Not so bulky that he can take like an entire army on, which is kind of a thing in FE4. Almost every our enemies is like in a group of like 10 people, so right now it's not that great for Lex to just be in the middle of a bunch of enemies, but he'll get there at some point. He's also pretty strong. You can get to a point where he just one-rounds a bunch of people with this, with that strong axe he gets later. But the problem with Lex is that he doesn't get that axe until like the end of chapter 1.
Yeah.
And until then he doesn't double, doesn't twit kill, well, it doesn't one-round kill anything. And even when he gets it, it's like the only way he's good, so he can't ever be good at like 2 range, for example, because the hand axe is just complete garbage.
Yeah.
That kind of sucks. So he does have some significant drawbacks. His resistance is really bad. So against like an army of wind mages, for example, he can be really bad. I find that there's a limited time where Lex is like really powerful and everything else is the but I can see 4 stars, especially because Paragon is so nice for a ranked run, so
yeah.
I'll tentatively give him 4 stars right now, but for like an efficiency tier list, I usually put Lex around the same level as like Alec and Noish, which might shock some people, but I think he's a little bit overrated, but he's still good and he's a fan favorite, so I do appreciate that.
Yeah, he's also the first character, aside from Sigurd, who comes with Holy Blood. He comes with Minor Near Blood. That boosts his defense. He comes from the Axe family, essentially.
Yeah, but it's been taken into account for his growth rates already.
Oh yeah. Then we have Azel, another Holy Blood guy. This guy's got Minor Follow Blood. He comes from the Fire family. Azel, he's really good on this map, and then he stops being good. He has just enough speed to double many of the Brigands here, and he does just enough damage to one-round them, which is really appreciated. I mean, Azel's start is really, really good. Fire magic is sadly the worst magic type in this game. All 3 magic types, Fire, Thunder, and Wind, are actually equal in their stats. They just have varying weights, and Fire is the heaviest tome at 12 weights. Luckily, the Brigands here are slow as balls because they wield axes, so he can double them still. But against anything else, Azel will really struggle to double. You can see he has -4 avoid on the stat screen, which just shows how heavy this tome is. But again, he does pretty well at the start. If you promote him, he promotes into a Mage Knight, which gives him a mount, but this usually comes very late, unless you are really adamant about feeding him a lot of kills. He's also like, I would call him sort of like a pairing pitfall. I get a feeling like a lot of people like to use him as a father, but I find that many of the pairings he's involved in aren't that great. People just like doing like gimmicky pairings with like magic swords and stuff. I think we talked about this a little bit in our pairing video.
Yeah, I hate those.
People are like, make a son the father and you'll become really good. It's like, no. It's like, you can do it, but it's not good. So, lack of amounts. Magic user is nice though. I think I'm gonna give Azel 2 out of 5 stars. His, like, the 2 stars comes only from his usefulness in the first chapter, but after that, man, he drops off so fast, and he's pretty unimpressive overall.
Well, you're stuck with him. The thing with Azel, I think, is his offense remains good for most of the game. In this chapter, the next chapter, he doubles fine with fire against most enemies, so the weight isn't a huge problem. The main problem is really the 5 movement is the same as Arden, so he really has a lot of trouble keeping up. If he had 6 move, at least it would be sort of bearable maybe, because you get some other foot units who also needs 3 XP, so not that big of a detriment, but 5 move is just so awful.
Yeah.
And he's stuck with it until level 20. He needs 19 levels of being awful until he gets a mount, and at that point he becomes good. And the other problem with Azel is his durability is not very good. 30 HP looks a lot higher, but HP in FE4 in general is very high, both for player characters and for enemies. But that 2 defense still means he goes down like really fast. His defense growth isn't good either.
No.
So he's still gonna get like 2 KO by a lot of things. His resistance isn't even all that great for a mage or anything. So even mages can like pose a threat to him. So he's a glass cannon basically. After chapter, I think in chapter 2 you can buy Thunder for him. He gets like 5 attack speed faster, but he's still not reliable at dodging. And he'll still probably like die to a series of enemies pretty easily. And then at some point you can buy a win for him, but that's like the end of the generation.
Yeah.
Mostly. So, I don't know. Azel never really gets great, but once he promotes, he's like pretty good. And he has pursuit, unlike a lot of other characters. So his offense will always remain good.
Yeah.
So I would say 2 stars is overall fair for Azel. If you can get him promoted, he's pretty good. But until then, he's like a really big pain in the ass. You're stuck with him, though. You have to train him.
Yep, pretty much. So let's start talking about Quan. So Quan is the second busted promoted unit you get, and he's pretty darn good. Stats are a little bit better than Sigurd's, but he does lack one thing that Sigurd has, and that is Pursuit. Instead of that, he comes with Adepts, which in this game has a 25% plus your speed to activate. So it's a 20, yeah, so it's a little bit better than Adept from the other games. But the thing about Quan, Quan really annoys me, and this is why. So, since he can't double normally, you often need to rely on an Adept proc for him to kill a unit. So, I find that when I really want to kill a unit with Quan, he doesn't proc Adept. But when I want Quan to set up a kill for Finn, such as like weakening a Brigand so Finn can run in and get him, he has a tendency to proc Adept and take the kill. And this happens so often with Quan. This is why he annoys me. I know he's really good, but he still pisses me off. Because I just don't like a unit that has to rely on Adept. Or having Adept ruining their setting up of kills for other units. I know it's a minor gripe. I know it shouldn't, like, impact his rating. But it is a thing that really pisses me off about Quan. But I'm really grateful he's here. His stats are great. He has Major Nova Holy Blood, which allows him to use a legendary lance, which he actually gets to play around a little bit for a very short time in the 3rd chapter. And he'll kick a lot of ass with it, but fucking Ethlyn's carrying it with her, and she doesn't give it to him. It's so annoying.
Because it's cursed. She doesn't want people to die.
This is true. It is a cursed lance. But Quan's still a really good unit. Really good to have him around. A little bit unsure what to rate him. He leaves at the end of Chapter 3, and he doesn't come back again. Well, he comes back, but we're not going to spoil it. So his availability is a bit shitty. He's not really available for the entirety of the 1st generation. So I think like a 4 out of 5 star rating is probably fair for him, because while he is around, for the chapters he is around, he is really useful. And yeah, he'll be mainly going up against axe users for the first 2 chapters, which does put him at a weapon triangle disadvantage, but he's so strong, he just doesn't give a shit. So still a really good unit.
Yeah, I feel like Quan is kind of similar to Lex in the first 2 chapters, except he hits a lot harder. He's never going to dodge anything because the lances, they weigh 12, so he's like going to have negative avoid too against these axe users. And his career is always going to get a hit, but he is pretty bulky. Yeah, he can take a couple hits, and I mean, right now you got Ethlyn right near him to heal him up, so it's not a big issue. And he can also attack at 1-2 range with the javelin and still hit pretty hard, because his strength is so good. Like, he hits so hard, it's insane. He can set up kills for just about anyone. And if you procs that, I actually think that's a good thing for most part, because Quan is kind of hard to get to level 30, even though he's super strong, because the Generation 1 enemies are kind of low level, so at first he'll get like a lot of XP. As you go along, he's going to get less and less, and then he leaves in Chapter 3, and he's probably not going to be capped, like, ever. It's so hard to get into any higher than, like, 27 out of 30, so I don't think he'll cap, but he's pretty easy to get XP with, and that's nice. I think he's pretty good. I just wish his availability wasn't limited, but he's, like, the closest thing you have to a Jagan if it isn't Sigurd, I guess.
Yeah.
He's pretty nice. I like him a lot. 4 stars seems fair, considering his disadvantages and big advantages.
Yeah.
He's good.
And here comes Ethlyn, Sigurd's sister. It's probably a good time to mention the sibling and bond supports. So Ethlyn has a bond support with Sigurd, as well as Quan. You get a bond support if you are related or if you're married.
Oh, it's F4, it's like the same thing.
I was waiting for the incest joke. Only took 46 minutes. So when a unit is adjacent to a unit that they have a bond support with, I think they get 20% crit?
Basically, yeah. It's like plus 20%, yeah. I'll look it up just to make sure.
Yeah, you'll get a nice little animation too if it actually procs. They also get a 10% hit and avoid bonus when they're within 3 spaces of each other. So you can keep them together for a bit of added avoid and hit, which is always nice. Anyway, Ethlyn, she's a mounted healer. That's really nice. You want healing. You'll get another heal in the next chapter, but for this chapter, Ethlyn's what you gotta rely on. Just like Quan, she leaves at the end of Chapter 3, but by that point, you've gotten some other healers to keep you safe. I like Ethlyn. She's got minor Baldur blood, which is nice. She and Quan is already married, so they give birth to Leaf and Altena. You can't really affect this pairing at all. But giving Ethlyn, there's some funny things you can do with Ethlyn if you want to pass down some stuff to Leaf. Because I do believe Ethlyn passes down her swords to Leaf, doesn't she?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's nice. She comes with critical. She doesn't like she'll hit like a wet noodle. She does 13 damage, but even if she crits, she won't kill.
She has a sword though, so she can use any sword you want to. If you want her to kill things, you can, but it's not a good idea.
I saw Ray do a funny strat once. He actually gave Sigurd's silver sword to Ethlyn, and then gave her the pursuit ring. It was actually a lot of fun. So yeah, she's pretty good. I think like 3 out of 5 stars is fair for her. She's a good utility unit. She's not going to be around forever, but she's really nice when she is.
Yeah, I think Ethlyn is like near essential, especially for chapter 2, because you need healers and you need to use mounted units a lot. And she's the only one who can keep up with him. You get some leaders later, but they have like 5 or 6 moves, so they can't do units while Ethlyn can. And it's just so valuable because you've already seen like some units just get hit all the time, and enemy armies are so massive. Even if you have like a good chance of avoiding, you're still going to get hit a lot. So having a healer that's mounted is just so valuable. I'm actually going to give her 4 stars for that, because even though she's only around for 3 chapters or so, or well, 4 including the prologue, she's just so essential to that end. Like, she's just insanely good. And she can also use the light brand pretty well when you get it on her, which is nice, I guess, for some good ranged chip damage. She's pretty fragile, so you have to protect her a little bit, but Canto really helps a lot with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, 4 stars.
And then we have Finn, one of my favorite characters in Jurgdral overall. I love this guy. Finn, just like Quan and Ethlyn, he leaves at the end of chapter 3, but Finn is the only character in this game to be playable in both generations. So whatever you give him here, he'll join with in the next generation. He joins in chapter 7. So Finn is a very unique unit for that reason. So is Tricia. He's just all over the place, this guy. Finn is actually like a surprisingly good unit in the first 3 chapters. A lot of people are like, oh, he's so bad because like weapon triangle disadvantage, but what I love about Finn is he comes with pursuit, and that's really nice, and he's actually more than fast enough to double a lot of the enemies. Even with a javelin, he can very reliably get kills and do a decent damage, so I think that Finn is a unit that is good to invest into, but I will probably hold him back a little bit just because I can cap him out in the 2nd generation where it's easier, so I don't really see the reason to give him... I think experience is more valuable in the 1st generation, if that makes sense. So I'm not gonna give him as much as I normally would. There'll be plenty of chapters for him to cap in the 2nd generation. His growth rates are pretty good. He comes with Miracle, which works very differently in this game to other games. It gives you 10 avoid per hit point you are below 10 at the start of combat. So if 12, right? So if you enter at, let's see, what is it, like 6 hit points, then you get 60 extra avoid or something, 60%. Something along those lines.
If you're 6 hit points,
yeah, you get more avoidance. You get more avoidance the lower you are. This is busted as fuck in the arena if you can exploit it. But keep in mind, if you enter an arena at 1 health, you will not be able to abuse it. They put in a cap on that. Still, Finn, what do we rate him? I feel like, even though he's not around as much in the 1st generation, a unit that's available in both generations is just so nice. I think that warrants a 4 out of 5 star rating. He does not have Holy Blood though, but I don't feel like this holds him back in any meaningful way.
I agree for sure. Finn is just a very good unit. You're going to have to hold him back, like I said, because Finn has access to the most arenas in the whole game, which is basically free XP for him. Yeah. Because when you have Miracle, there's no excuse not to clear the arena in every chapter, because you can get yourself invincible. I'm kind of doing a double take on Miracle right now, because I thought it was under 12, but SF has updated their information, so I'm not entirely sure. But either way, you can make it so that when Finn gets like too low HP, like 2 to 3 HP or something, he's just invincible, he's unhittable, he's never going to get hit. So you can make setups where Finn is just gonna take on like an army of enemies, and he's never gonna get hit, and he can also one-round them pretty easily, because you can buy a Steel Lance in Chapter 1 if you want to. I think he's pretty close to one-rounding with those. He's a very good user of the Speed Ring that you get in this chapter, if you want to.
Oh yeah,
and then he also gets the Hero Lance in Chapter 2 that he can one-round things easily with. He's not the only person who can use the Hero Lance, but I mean, people consider it his because he gets it from Quan story-wise, so it's like his personal weapon. It's like his personal weapon in the next game, F5. So people kind of like it having on him, and he's a pretty good user of it, so it's fair to let him keep it for a while. I don't think I would actually keep it on him in your case, because you kind of want to make use of it in Chapter 4 and 5.
Oh yeah, I'm selling
But it is pretty nice. It is a perk for him. So yeah, I think Finn is really good, and honestly, even if he wasn't around in Generation 2, I would still probably give him 3 or 4 stars, because he's pretty good in this part of the game. Like, even against the Axis, he's decent, but after that, he's just... Chapter 2 and Chapter 3 are really good chapters for him, so... With Generation 2 in mind, I'm more inclined to give him 5 stars than anything else, but I'm going to give him 4, because I think that's just a little I'm going to go with 4. But he's close to 5 stars for me.
Right.
I was gonna say it. Like, I don't know who else could be 5 stars besides like Sigurd.
Right. It's not. And then we read on the internet later that like a Midir. I was like, oh, it's a he. Anyway, Midir. So Midir as a unit, he is. I think he's pretty good because he's like normally bow units are pretty trash, but he's got a mount and he's got super canto, which allows him to shoot and then retreat. And there's a lot of merit to that. Like he can weaken units for other units to get the kill. And as a combat unit, he's not bad. I mean, he comes with Pursuit, which is always nice, and he also has Charge. Those can proc in between each other. And I like it when Charge procs when he, against a unit that can't fight back, because it's essentially just more attacks. So Midir can sometimes deal a lot more damage than you might think. He's also a pretty good father. Passes down Pursuit and Charge. Again, those are two just really good skills to pass down. We're going to pair him up with Aideen to make a really good Lester. Like his growth rates are pretty unspectacular and his bases aren't fantastic, but I feel just because he has a mount, that does work in his favor. So I rate him 2 out of 5 stars.
Yeah, I like Midir a lot. He's included in the video where I also talk about Alec and Noish. It's like Pitfalls 4, I think.
Yeah.
I think usually in like a GBA games, for example, if you have a Nomad that can like attack and retreat or somehow, like if you play like a hack with Super Canto or something, what you usually end up doing is like move up a little bit, attack and then retreat behind something, like hide behind terrain.
Yeah.
FE4 doesn't really let you do that very much because every map is outdoors, so hiding behind a wall or anything is generally not going to happen, but you can still put him like behind your other units more easily that way and position him safely, and that's nice because he has no enemy phase. So you want to keep him away from enemies. He's also kind of fragile, so he just doesn't want to be attacked in general, even by ranged enemies.
No.
Sometimes ranged enemies will suicide into him, which is really funny. Like, even if they have a choice to attack someone who doesn't counter, they'll just go for Midir anyway, probably because he just looks like a wimp, so enemies just want to go for him.
He does.
He has some problems. His growths are bad, but that's fine, because his base speed, for example, even with his base speed, he can already double every single enemy in Generation 1, as long as he has a bow that doesn't weigh him down by so much, like the iron bow. It actually weighs like 8, I think, which is quite a lot. But next chapter, you get the killer bow, which is a very good user of. It only weighs like 3, and it's also much more accurate, because Midir has a bit of an accuracy problem, actually, because he has 84 hit with the iron bow.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Pretty bad, because bows in general are just kind of inaccurate, but the killer bow has like 100 hit, compared to this guy's 70, so that should fix that. Like, Midir is usually compared to another bow unit called Jamke that joins later on, and Jamke is just an archer. And
he's better.
Jamke has much better stats and combats, but not by so much that you can't fix Midir's. And it's much easier to fix bad combat than it is to fix bad movement in FE4, because not a whole lot of ways you can fix your movement besides the leg ring, which you get later. But to fix Midir's combat, you just need, like, I don't know, a better bow, and that's pretty much all he needs. He can one round later on.
Yeah, he gets a hero bow from Aideen if they're paired.
Yeah, that's pretty good too, and the killer bow is also really good on him. Like, between the killer bow's critical, pursuit, and charge, he's just gonna attack like a bunch of times, and sometimes unexpectedly one-round things, which is really cool. But even if he's not one-rounding anything, he's just doing good chip damage, so you can't really go wrong with Midir. It's gonna help you like every turn of the way. So I kind of want to give him 4 stars because he's pretty good, but he does have some weaknesses. He doesn't contribute an enemy phase, so I will go down to 3 stars, but he's close to 4 stars for me. But yeah, 3 stars. Well planned.
So Aideen, best hair in the series. Like, look at that hair. Seriously, what the fuck? that's a lot of hair. Jesus Christ.
It's hair that both you and Market Joe would like.
I mean, yeah, I like her hair, actually. It's nice. I like her sister more, though. So, Aideen. She's the first cleric you get. You already have Ethlyn, but it's always nice to have an extra healer. Aideen is a pretty good unit. She joins with Holy Blood. She has Ulur or Ulir Holy Blood, depending on translation. It's the Archery Holy Blood, which may seem a little bit strange, but it would all make sense once you meet her sister. So she comes with Bean Staves, which allows her to use a lot of staves. Particularly, she can use the Warp Staff and the Return Staff, both which grants a shit ton of experience, which is going to be very important for our rankings. She is footlocked though, which is a bit annoying. She'll often like lag behind the rest of your army, but you can use her to like staff up your infantry units. There's always something for her to do in one way or another. A really important unit. Again, one healer is not quite enough to cover our large army, so it's always nice to get another. I rate Aideen 3 out of 5 stars. She's just like a really good unit. And she also is important for pairing purposes, of course.
Okay, so not counting things she does as a pair bot, because I think that's like a separate kind of worms.
Yeah.
I like Aideen's staff utility to some extent. I like warping around units, that's pretty useful. She is, because of her 5 move, she's like perfect for sitting in the castle and warping people around. Yeah. What you can do is you can return people from the field using like Ethlyn or Lachesis with the return staff.
Yeah.
Into the home castle, then Aideen can warp to some other castle where you want them. And that's really nice, because if you try to have Aideen keep up with your with your freaking mounted units or even your foot units with 6 moves, she's just gonna fall behind, because 5 move is garbage. We went over that with Azel and with Arden. It's just not gonna work. So she's not very useful for keeping your units healthy per se, but warp utility is nice. I don't know how much they count that for though, because it's really just one staff that she's pretty good at using, and everything else is like, it's not that great. I rate her 2 stars, because 5 move is like a really big limitation of what she can do, but she is useful.
Yeah. Then we have Dew. Dew is gonna be one of the most important units in your army. Not because he's very good at fighting, but because he is your first and only thief of the first generation. Now, thieves are obviously pretty bad combat-wise, but they do come with steel, which is extremely useful. Now, you may notice that enemies in Fire Emblem 4 have their own personal gold value. Every time Dew lands a hit on them, he doesn't need to do more than 1 damage. You can't do 0 damage in FE4, 1 is the minimum. He'll steal all their gold and add it to his own inventory. And he can also give that gold to anyone. It's like he's married to the whole army. Which is insanely useful, because as Mecha said in the last chapter, gold equals experience. With gold, you can buy items like the Paragon Ring, and get more experience in the arenas. It's just really useful overall. How you use how you use Dew, I think will make or break your rank run, because it's just really important to make sure you give gold to the units who can use it. And training him up so that he can survive more combat is also very useful, because that allows him to fight against more guys and steal their gold. You can be kind of risky in this first map if you want to, and let him fight some of the pursuing bandits, because they have a pretty low hit chance against him and he can steal their gold. But what you really want to do with Dew is you want to go after the raiders, because the raiders have 5,000 gold. The bosses also have 5,000 gold. That's a lot of money that you can get. So Dew is just a really important unit for those reasons. He also comes with Soul, which allows him to occasionally drain his health back. I have never really seen him use this particularly to good effect, because he deals 9 damage at base. He also comes with the Bargain, which is a ridiculously good skill. Allows him to buy, for example, the Pursuit Ring for free, because he can just sell it back later. Granted, he has the gold to buy it in the first place. Also a super good skill to pass down. And if you can promote him to Rogue, he gets B rank in swords. That also allows him to pass some swords down to his children. I think that for the utility that Dew provides, he's actually a 4 out of 5 star units. Just because giving gold to your entire army is just so goddamn valuable. Even if Dew himself is not particularly impressive.
Yeah, Dew actually gets A rank in swords when he promotes.
Oh, right.
And he also gets Pursuit, which he doesn't have right now, so that will let him actually deal damage. He can clear the arena once he promotes pretty easily. Right now, it's kind of hard to get through the arena with Dew. He can beat like that level 1 X-Fighter at the start, and then sometimes a mage, and that's pretty much about it.
Yeah.
So getting him through will be a little bit tricky, but there are ways to do it. And because of Bargain, he can buy things like good weapons. Like, I don't know, if you get a good C-rank sword that he can use, because right now he has C-rank swords, which sucks. It's the lowest possible in the game. But if you can get a good one, like, I don't know, a slim sword with a bunch of kills on it or something, that could work for him, but it's kind of tricky. Yeah, you will make and break your run. He's also good in non-ranked runs, because he can help other people promote, like Lachesis, for example, needs some help in the gold department, so we can give some gold to her. And promote Lachesis is really good, because she's the Master Knight. I am actually going to give Dew 5 stars, because I think he's going to be that important for you. I can't think of any other unit besides Sigurd that comes close to deserving this. I don't think 5 stars holds up for a normal run, but for a ranked run, I think this is the most important unit you have. Like, possibly more important than Sigurd in a way, because of how much micromanaging you have to do. And Dew is the best for micromanaging, so the better you plan, the more you get out of it. Also, I think you said bosses have 5,000 gold. I don't think they do. I think it's determined by what class they are.
Oh, right.
But you feel free to check around and see if that's right, because that's what I remember. So much for nitpicking. 5 gold. 5 gold. 5 points.
5 gold.
5 points.
5 points.
5 points!
Right. Let's take a look at Ayra.
Hey, it's a unit.
Big fan favorite right here. Ayra might just be one of the most popular genealogy characters. Mainly because, I don't know, she's pretty, I guess.
Sword, Myrmidon, female.
Yeah, people like Sword Myrmidons a lot. And Ayra is like, you know, we're gonna repeat this a lot, but Ayra is like the perfect combat unit, except for the fact that she lacks a mount. Like, she has everything she needs to kill enemies horribly, but she doesn't have a mount. And that is this recurring trend you will see with a lot of Footlog characters, especially when we get later. Aside from that, though, I really like Ayra. She has really good bases. I mean, 17 speed is really good. She pretty much doubles everything. She comes with Pursuit, Nihil, same as Alec. Doesn't really help her all that much though. But of course, she is the first character in the series to come with the beloved Astra skill. Fans of the franchise probably know what this does. Has a chance to proc. She attacks 5 times, pretty much. If she has a hero sword, she attacks 10 times. Everything will die. Like, I don't think anything will survive an Astra Brave Sword. Maybe like a Baron.
Doesn't Astra proc like on one of the hits of a Brave Sword, and then the other one will independently maybe proc Astra?
No. How it works is that if you have a Brave Sword equipped and Astra procs, you'll do 10 attacks.
Interesting. I've never seen this.
If not, no, that's how it works. Okay. And if you have a regular weapon affected, then you get 5 attacks. But you can't proc Adept or any other sword skills during this time, nor can you proc Charge if you happen to have that.
Pretty sure you can proc Charge afterwards, because
you
Charge
can.
is like between battles.
You can, but you can't proc it during an Astra.
No, like, of course not.
Ayra does have
how Charge works.
Aside from not having a mount though, Ayra is a little bit frail. I mean, 7 defense, not that great. She's not a unit you can just leave out on the front lines. She's good against axe users because of Genealogy's insane weapon triangle, but there's going to be a lot of lance users coming up in the next chapters, and I at least find that Ayra tends to crumble pretty quickly on the front lines if you just leave her out there. She's amazing in the arena. She usually clears the entire gauntlet. We're going to send her in there now for fun. But yeah, I was a little bit unsure what to rate Ayra. I think I'm going to end up giving her 3 out of 5 stars. Like, good combat can only get you so far. She'll often end up behind enemy lines, and since enemies in FE4 move in regiments, it's very dangerous to send her into close combat unless you know you can wipe out the entire regiment. And yeah, sure, she can kill one unit pretty effectively, but if you don't kill the other units, I find that she'll often die.
Very fair. I agree with most of what you said. There's one thing I disagree with, and that's that Ayra's stats in combat and is like overall good. Right now, actually, I think her offense isn't even that good. That's one of my bigger problems with her, and something that doesn't get addressed very much. Yes, she has Pursuit, and yes, she has Astra, but her strength is not good enough to KO enemies, and Astra is not reliable. It has like a skill percent chance to activate, so right now it's like 60%, so her chance to activate it like once in a battle where she doubles is not even 50%, so most of the time she will not one-round the enemy, and she can use the Silver Sword, but I don't think she has the strength to one-round with it. Like, Sigurd is barely one-rounding with it, and he has like 5 more strength than she does, so there's no way Ayra one-rounds reliably with any weapon he has right now. So you gotta wait until you get the Hero Sword in Chapter 3, and anyone can one-round with the Hero Sword. A lot of people think it's hers, because she's the one who gets it in the conversation, but you can sell it and give it to someone else.
Oh yeah.
So it's really not her personal weapon. People always somehow grant it to Ayra for free, but it is not. And the same goes for something like the leg ring. Yeah, you can use that to fix her movement, but anyone can use that to fix their movement. So either we can compare Ayra to everyone when everyone has a leg ring, or no one has it. But Ayra does not get to have the leg ring for free. That's just not how it works. That's just not how you can compare units. So 2 things that people often give to Ayra, the Hero Sword and leg ring, do not belong to Ayra. They work for her, but they work for everyone else too. And without those tools, I think Ayra is very mediocre overall. After promotion, her offense is mostly fixed and her durability is fine as well. But before that, like I said, her durability is pretty bad and her offense is unreliable. She does like quite a bit of damage, but it's not good enough to like one-round things, which if you're a foot unit, that's pretty bad because you already went through the trouble of getting her to the front lines to begin with. And then when she's also not performing all that greatly, that's not that good. And after promotion, she's fine, but so are most units. So I really have trouble giving her credit for that. So I don't like Ayra all that much. I actually maybe trigger some people and give her 2 stars for now. I actually don't think she's very good. Not at all. I don't like the foot units in general, but their durability and offense are just not that good right now.
I generally think Ayra is a very overhyped unit. I think there are a lot of people who would ironically rate her 4 or even 5 stars.
There's people who think Ayra is the best unit in the game.
Yeah, sure. I mean, when she's in the middle of a Midir sword proc and she just massacres her enemy, yeah, she seems really good. But
yeah, when you have her in the arena with like 100 kill hero sword and she's activating things all the time, but that's overkill. Like, there's only so much offense you need to win. Like, at that point, Ayra is good, sure, but she's already like with 2 of those things not there, she would still be good. That's
Prince So Jamke, first archer you get. Only archer you get. No, actually, you got 1 more.
Am I a joke to you? Every other archer you get.
So Jamke, he has what I like to dub the machine gun build, where he has all 3 attack again skills. He has pursuit, he has a cost, and he has adept. This can lead to Jamke attacking a ridiculous amount of times, which sounds really nice on paper, but you may notice that he's not sitting on top of a horse, and you know what this means for a unit in FE4. He can clear the arena really well. In fact, for most of my runs, he just breezes through it, because even if he gets killed, he can just re-enter the arena. He's usually fast enough to go first. You just need him to crit, and then maybe against some of the tougher opponents, like a crit and an adapt will do it. I'd say that Jamke is not a fantastic unit because he's sort of like a foot unit and he will just lag behind the rest of your army, but fighting-wise, he is really good for an archer. His growths are pretty unspectacular, he doesn't come with any Holy Blood or anything like that, but the combination of his skills plus his killer bow, at least it makes him nice, like good at dealing damage, which is nice, but he's still an archer that can attack like one enemy on player phase, so that, you know, I'm still only gonna rate him 2 out of 5 stars, but I would say that even for an archer, like an archer in any other game would probably be 1 star, but Jamke makes it up to a 2 star because of his ability to clear the arena and do decent damage when he attacks. But for the most part, I think Jamke is just going to be behind the horses and not doing anything.
I agree with that. I think a lot of people, especially new players to FE4, will rate Jamke as if he has the killer bow all the time and mostly look at his arena performance rather than what he actually does when he's on the field. And as a result, they will be like, Jamke is an awesome unit. I think the Inuit guy from that FE9 Ike
Jamke plus killer bow plus edit equals
pretty much. He
literally
had Jamke at the top of his tier list. Well, not all the way to the top, but like up there with like Sigurd and stuff. It was ridiculous. He's not that good, okay? He's good at fighting individual enemies, but I know it looks really impressive that he just clears the arena, even the toughest opponents. But Jamke is not the same thing as like a good unit on the field. He's just good at fighting individual enemies, and that's fine. Also, a lot of people don't really realize or don't want to give his killer bow to other units, but it's a lot more useful on Midir because if one unit is on a horse and the other one isn't, then the one on the horse is going to do more work. So you want the better weapon on the better unit that's able to do more work with it. So usually I swap their weapons around and give him the killer bow, like give Midir the killer bow and give Jamke something else. And when Jamke gets like a steel bow or something, it looks a little less impressive. His hit actually goes down like way because the killer bow is like super accurate. It has like 100 hit.
It's really good.
The normal bows had like 70 or something, like 65. It's terrible. So it actually suffers accuracy issue at that point. But I won't blame Jamke for accuracy issues because he does have the option of the killer bow when accuracy is important. But just saying, Jamke is not the same as the killer bow. Killer bow is kick-ass. Jamke, yeah, he's all right. Like most tier lists for FE4, Jamke is actually like all the way at the bottom, like at 1 star. I won't go that far. I will still give him 2 stars just because he is good at combat, I guess. And I think a lot of people will be triggered if I give him 1 star. Not that it ever stopped me. I would give him 1 star, but fine. In the context of a ranked run, I can see 2 stars because he can kind of deal with his shortcomings and make him good at the things he's good at. But I'm just saying low 2 star, okay? Low 2 star.
Yeah. There's 2 very meek-looking little stars. So Deirdre. There she is. The girl that Sigurd should not mingle with, but did it anyway. Birth of a stupid knight, am I right? But what we do for love. So Deirdre, she's a priestess, and for some reason she can't promote. She's a pre-promoted unit, even though it's not very obvious to first sight.
She's not pre-promoted. She just can't promote.
I would consider that being a pre-promote, but all right.
Okay, but then what is Julia then?
Good point. So, Mario. So Deirdre, let's take a look at her blood. Ooh, she has major Naga blood. Again, that little weird blip there. I don't know why it keeps coming up. I really gotta check my ROM. I think it might be bugged.
Can confirm.
She's got major Naga blood, which, oh my god, it boosts her growth rates by a crap ton. She's a very lopsided unit. She has like a crap ton of magic and rest and nothing else. She can use light magic, one of the only, I think her and Julia are the, oh never mind, I'm full of shit. All sages can use light magic in this game. But she can use it earlier than anyone else. She can use staves, she also comes with the circlet, which is a special item that only she can wear, that grants, well, that's exactly what it says, miracle and renewal. Does it have any other hidden things built into it? I don't think so.
No, but Deirdre has the Nihil skill as well.
Yeah,
that's why you might think it. Yeah,
right, that's true. So Deirdre, she's very unavailable in this generation. I get it, because she's married with Sigurd. She's only available for this chapter, chapter 2, and then in chapter 3, she's like stuck in the castle. So your time to train her is very limited, although she can use staves inside the castle, so that's nice. She comes with the Sound Staff, which I'm going to use against Sandima for experience more than anything else. In this game, Status Step just hit automatically if you have more magic than the enemy's resistance, which is kind of nice. Deirdre as a combat unit is not spectacular. She comes with the Aura Tome, which seems good, but it weighs 20, so she... I mean, she doesn't have Pursuit, but it does fuck with her Avoidant a lot. You can see she has minus 10 Avoid on the stat screen. So, however, I think I might have a way to solve this. I'm gonna give her Sandima's Magic Ring, unless you have any objections to it.
Well, you'd have to kill Sandima with her.
That's not so hard to do.
Have her buy it. Okay, well, I guess you can do it.
And I read that if she gets the Magic Ring, she actually one-shots a lot of the arena opponents, which is actually kind of nice. And she also has Miracle, so if you rig her Miracle, like what Mecha talked about in the ranking video, you can like rig her hit points so that she can abuse Miracle and clear the arena.
Wouldn't that be an argument for not giving her the Magic Ring then?
Maybe. It's a compelling argument. Anyway, Deirdre, she's weird. I don't really know what to rate her. I have to sort of level her up as much as I can because of XP requirement. Otherwise, I'd recommend just not giving a shit about Deirdre and just using her as a healer, probably. I think I'm gonna rate her like 3 out of 5 stars. She's got some staff utility on her, which is nice, but again, being a footlocked unit just means she's gonna lag behind everyone else, and it's just like, she's just a really weird unit. She also cannot die. If she gets killed, she winds up in the enemy's castle, and she will rejoin you as soon as you kill the boss of that castle. Because the enemy just like teleports her there or something, I don't know, it's really weird. She's got plot armor. You'll understand why in a bit.
I think that still counts for your survival ranking though, so you still can't get her killed.
Yes, that's very true.
Yeah, I just looked up her growth because I was curious. I hadn't used her in a while. Apparently she has like 70 HP, 70 magic, and 70 magic defense or resistance, and then everything else is 10 or 20%. So yeah,
she's
really
very
lopsided.
Very lopsided.
Yeah, very fragile, very low avoid, but very high attack power. Basically sums her up, but you don't really get to use her very much. I don't really want to talk about the exact details of it, but yeah, I think the availability alone is like enough of an argument for me to like not even rate her 3 stars. I think that's too high for her. I would probably give her about 2 stars, considering how little she's around and how little she can even do. Like, she could probably get through the arena, but you don't have time to get her to level 30. But at least she can staff abuse. I would actually recommend Mangs give the warp staff to her next chapter, because she's going to be grinding a lot more than Aideen does.
I agree.
So, yeah, but I think besides the silencing in this chapter, she doesn't really do a lot in any kind of playthrough. So yeah, 2 stars. Yeah. And that's generous, I think.
It is really generous. So I think... So Holyn, he's a Myrmidon. He's a bit more beefy than Ayra is. Instead of Ayra's trademark Astra, he comes with Luna, which has a skill percentage chance of just like straight up ignoring defense of his enemy. I prefer Astra, but Luna is nice too. Usually when it procs, it's a dead enemy. I think it's also a guaranteed hit. Don't quote me on that. I think it might be.
I think it's like if you hit, you can proc Luna, and then...
Oh yeah,
it rolls. You never see Luna miss. It's just like the crit in thing in F6.
Either it rolls after hit, or when it activates, it's a guaranteed hit. I don't remember. I know there is a game in the Fire Emblem series where Luna is an automatic hit. I don't remember which one. It might be Soul, actually, that always hits. I'm not sure. Or, actually, no, I think it's Tracia, actually. When Luna procs, it always hits, or something like that. Holyn himself is, like, again, I know I sound like a broken record at this point. He's really good at fighting. I mean, 17 speed is really good, 14 strength is really good, 40 hit points, 11 defense means he doesn't, like, instantly die. But he doesn't have a horse, so that kind of makes him lag behind the rest of your army. I would say he's very similar to Ayra in many ways, although Ayra may clear the gauntlet a little bit faster because of her... Astra's just plain better in my opinion, because when it procs, usually just does more, especially with the hero sword, but Holyn's no slouch either. He's great. I think I'm gonna end up giving him 3 out of 5 stars. He's completely decent at fighting, but most of the time you'll just see him walk behind the other enemy. You just walk behind the rest of your army trying to catch up. That seems to be the fate for anything that doesn't have a horse in this game.
Fair enough. I like Holyn decently as a fighter. He's pretty bulky, so I think he's more reliable at fighting on the field when it does happen compared to Ayra. Like, his HP and defense are significantly better. His growths aren't that amazing, but he does have a pretty amazing 110 HP growth, so it just gets bulkier and bulkier. His skill growth is high at 80%, so it just activates Luna more often. And that's really most of the good things I have to say about him. Like, he has a sword, so you can use any sword you want, even a brave sword. I guess it's important. I find that just like Ayra, he has no trouble clearing the arena at all. Maybe a bit slower in a way, but I still think there's no reason this guy shouldn't be able to clear them all, so I don't hold that against him. Like, Astra's better in most situations, but like if you're facing like a general with Phaphais or something, you might want Luna instead. I don't know. I don't really care because I think they're both fairly bad overall. just because of no horse, unfortunately. I gave Ayra 2 stars. I think Holyn is better, but I'm still going to give him 2 stars. I don't think he's good enough for 3.
Yeah, I'm going to remember to actually put the stars on screen this time around.
Oh, you put the stars on screen for Dew in episode 1, but then they just vanished.
It's really weird.
It's like, Dew stole my stars. No.
Right. So, Lachesis, she's a princess. That's a cool class. They can use staves and swords. Too bad she's on foot though, but don't worry, that'll all change if, or in this case, when she promotes. When she promotes, she becomes a Master Knight, and she becomes insane. I'll talk a little bit more about that later.
Let's just say if. You're Mangs. Let's just say if.
She will become a Master Knight. So, Lachesis, she's footlocked, swords and staves. I mean, she's like a better version of Aideen, in my opinion, because she can move farther and she can heal. She also comes with the class skill Charm, because she is very charming. I mean, look at her. She's gorgeous. So she increases the hit and avoid of everyone around her by 10%, kind of similar to Sigurd's leadership aura. This is really nice. You can stack them too. Charm is just such a good skill. She doesn't have Pursuit, but in my opinion, she doesn't really need it. You can either give her the Pursuit ring. Does she get Pursuit when she promotes to Master Knight? I can never remember.
Yes.
I think she does, yeah.
So she's horrible for Pursuit ring, but go on.
Yeah, but luckily she comes with A rank and staves, so you can staff spam her to...
She does not come with A rank and staves. She has C.
Oh, right, yeah. My bad. It's A swords.
Do you know anything about Lachesis, Mangs?
She's pretty. She has good growth rate. She has minor Azul blood. She's the sister of Eldigan. Yeah, and she's good. 5 out of 5 stars. Nah, I'm just joking. I'm trying to think like what I should rate her. I think like a reluctant 3 out of 5 stars is probably good for her. I mean, she does kick ass when she promotes to Master Knight, but it comes so late. You very rarely get to enjoy it for long. And before that, she's a big liability. Kind of have to rely on men staves to level her up, or the return staff. Return staff is good enough. She can use it, so that's definitely something I'll do. I think we'll definitely try to get her a Paragon band, I think, maybe. We'll see how that goes. She does come with a lot of cash, as you said, but yeah, 3 out of 5 stars.
I like Lachesis a lot, not because of her growth. She has 60 HP and 50 strength. And then tell me how good you think. 5% magic, 10% skill, 20% speed, 40% luck, 20% defense, and 10% resistance sound to you. That doesn't sound good to me, but I don't know. I might have different standards from blondes. I don't know. But to me, that sounds shit.
That is pretty bad.
Lachesis, yeah. The good thing about Lachesis comes from her promo bonus. Like, I don't think you spoiled a whole lot about her, but it makes her really good. Promo bonus is it just changes it all. It's like a Magic Arm Gyarados kind of thing. You can't explain it. You just gotta see it. But until then,
she is Magikarp, isn't she?
Yeah, basically. But yeah, right now she just kind of sucks at fighting. She can get through the arena thanks to the Miracle Sword, which is a sword that her and other females can use.
For women only.
Yeah, it protect women. It protect women from dying. It works just like Finn's Miracle and Deirdre's Miracle, and it's pretty nice. It's not that expensive. Speaking of expensive, Paragon Buoyant is pretty expensive, but you kind of got to use it on Lachesis at some point. But she comes with like 12,000 gold, I think, or like 10,000. And then she has the Thief Sword can help a little bit that she gets from Dew. And she gets some other expensive things, like she's a princess, so she just gets a ton of expensive things. She gets the Night Ring, which is worth 20,000, and you should sell it when she gets it. Yeah. And then she gets the Earth Sword, which is another like 5k or 10k, I can never remember, but it's pretty worthwhile. So with that, she should be able to get some ring at some point and get the promotion, and that's really all that matters. Until then, it's just spam staffs, preferably return, because you can just use that over and over and over and over and over. But right now, returns on Ethlyn should stay that way, but Temper 3, return abuse is pretty fun with her.
Yeah.
And maybe like other stabs, like, I don't know, Ment is okay, I guess. Heal can also work, but doesn't give as much XP. Point is, you want to heal with her or do something with her every turn, because every turn she's not promoted, it's not fun. Now, unfortunately, because this is a ranked run, you have to minimize your use of her promotion as much as possible, because she's going to reach level 30 no matter what. So you actually shouldn't kill a single thing with Lachesis, which is very unfortunate.
Aww.
It's just a waste of XP. But that's just how good she is, because she can just get to level 30 easily. Yeah, hard to rate, I guess, because she doesn't do anything, but I wouldn't really call her a liability. Like someone like Jamke or Ayra or Dew or Arden, they suck at fighting, but they have to get the XP. Lachesis never has to fight, so she's never a negative impact, so I don't want to rate her very low, and her after promotions is very good, so I think I will give her 4 stars. I actually Lachesis. Yeah, I think she's fine. Good unit.
Yeah. Good unit. Alright, here is Lewyn the Bard. Lewyn might be one of the more popular Jigdraw characters. I think he might actually be one of the most powerful. I think when we did our like top 20 unit calendar thingy, I think he ended up being pretty high up there.
Yeah, he was really high.
So, Lewyn, he is a bard, and bards can use wind magic. Initially, you might look at this unit and you go, not really all that great. He doesn't have Pursuit, which really hurts him. He does have Adept and a pretty good speed stat, so he has like I think it's 20 plus speed, right?
Yeah, 20 plus AS.
And Wind weighs nothing, so he has an effective speed of 14, which means he has a 34% chance of adapting. Which is a hell of a lot worse than Pursuit, which would have just pursued all the time, but hey. Some might want to give him the Pursuit ring. I don't think that's necessary. He kicks so much ass when he promotes anyway, he doesn't really need it. So he has major Forseti Holy Blood, as you may have noticed. His speed growth is ridiculous. He will easily cap his speed. In fact, I think Lewyn is probably one of the fastest characters in the Fire Emblem franchise. He can reach 50 speed in FE4, which is pretty fucking ridiculous. So again, he is not particularly impressive at first. He's frail, he doesn't double reliably, he does use wind magic, which is great, but he's a tricky unit to use. Once he promotes though, once he gets his hand on the legendary Forseti, which he will get at the end of chapter 4, he'll kick all sorts of ass, but he won't really have a lot of time to enjoy it. It's more the second generation, which we'll see a lot of Forseti. What to rate Lewyn though? I think giving him 3 stars is fair. I think that for what he can do, he deserves those 3 stars. I mean, he's so strong in this final chapter. He can kill a lot of the bosses without even blinking. There is some merit to that. He also gets staff utility when he promotes to a sage. So I'd say for his ridiculous endgame, he doesn't deserve like a 2-star rating, but it's a very weak 3-star, because he does lack a mount, and he does have a really slow start, but oh my, once he gets going, he's great.
I love Lewyn, a lot of fun to use. He can't just use wind magic. He has like an S rank in wind magic because of his major Forseti blood. But he can use every kind of magic that you want to. He can use light magic apparently.
Yeah, he can use light magic. I actually forgot about that.
Yeah, me too, because there is not a single light tome in the first generation that he can use. There's only Aura, which is on Deirdre. No one else can use it. So, shucks. You can't really use light magic that way. But yeah, it's the best that use wind magic. Everything else is like C rank, so there's no point in giving him anything else besides the Elwind and then later Forseti. He's pretty strong. He doesn't just have Adept, he also has Critical, which means he has a skill percent chance to just crit something without having to build up kills or anything.
Yeah.
Not very reliable. Adept is much more reliable, and that's not reliable at all. He will 2-hit KO just about everything he faces. He pretty much beats the arena every time. But he's a foot unit, and he's still kind of frail. He's like not as bad as Ayra, but he still has like huge problems getting kills outside of the arena just because he can't keep up and has to hide behind enemy lines or player lines just to survive. But his avoid is more reliable, so it's like a bit easier for him, but it's still not easy. And then the other problem with him in your run specifically is that once he promotes, he gets stabs, so he can get himself to level from 20 to 30 without ever seeing combat, which means you should never use Forseti in your run, which is like, I don't know if I should
except for in the arena.
I guess, but do you want to use Forseti in the arena and waste gold of repairing it for 2nd gen? Just like that? It seems kind of silly. Because he doesn't need it. And the promotion bonuses for him are good, but it doesn't get any extra skills. I wish he would get Pursuit or a mount or something when promoting, because all he gets is more speed and skill and stuff. He doesn't really need that. Promotion is not a big game changer. Forseti is, but like, the thing is, Forseti is really good, but it's even better for you if Lewyn just doesn't take any experience after promotion, just heals. So that makes him better than when he would use Forseti. So I shouldn't really penalize him for that. But regardless, I can't give this kind of a unit 3 stars. It's not that good. It's fun to use. He's great for casual play, but Forseti doesn't really help you very much in your ranked conquest because you just gotta feed kills to weaklings all the time. So I'm gonna give him 2 stars, even though I like him a lot.
Ooh. Alright. Well, there's the unit you're not gonna give 2 stars. I like it, Rob! So, Sylvia. Good old Sylvia. The slutty dancer. I like Sylvia. She's a fun character. I just like it. I think she's charming. I think they wrote her like as this dumb bimbo, and I think that like it's not that I like dumb bimbos. I just like original characters. I like characters that stick out a little bit, and there's not that many dumb bimbos in Fire Emblem. At least not that are...
I don't know. Awakening kind of gets a lot of dumb bimbos.
Not many dumb bimbos there. Yeah, I don't know. I like Sylvia because she's different. So, you guys know how good dancers are. We would easily rate any dancer that could dance for his unit 5 stars, even in this game. And you know how good Raisin and Raphael were in Radiant Dawn, because they could like dance for 4 people, transformed. Well, enter Genealogy's dancers. They can always dance for 4 people.
So basically Raphael.
She's Raphael that, yeah, she's basically Raphael.
That can't fly. Oh wait, Raphael can't fly.
No, he can't fly. So, Sylvia is obviously crazy. She can make 4 units move again. How you use Sylvia is gonna make or break your run. Setting up dances, which, you know, I am very good at, is like...
a lot of one unit dances with Sylvia, I'm sure.
Will dictate how well your run goes. And luckily, though, you got so many Kanto units, it's usually pretty easy to set up the dances. But it does require a lot of planning. She can also fight, although her stats are pretty shit. She also has, kind of easy to miss. I actually completely missed this the first time I played a Fire Emblem, but she has Minor Brogibod. This is, you know, it doesn't really help her, but there's some pairings that you can, like, pass it down so that her kids get better staff ranks, which can be kind of fun. But yeah, like, dancers can fight, but not very well. I mean, I'd say she's just slightly... She's probably worse than Do. So, I mean, there's some units she can take on. Does she come with Miracle? Yes, she does. So you can rig some Miracle strats to make her clear the arena. And you should definitely try to do that as much as possible. She also has Adaptive, though. You'll rarely notice this at all. But like, this is a pretty easy rating for Sylvia, honestly. 5 stars. I think that a unit that can make 4 other units move again is just like ridiculous. Doesn't matter how footlocked she is. Doesn't matter how frail she is. Doesn't matter how stupid she is. She is a 5-star unit.
I think you would rate her higher if she was stupider than she is. 6 stars, stupidest unit ever. Yeah. Easy 5 stars, of course. That's for 4 units. That's great. It's kind of hard to use her beyond turn 2. Like, turn 1, you're like, oh, I just put these 4 multi units in a diamond, put Sylvia in the middle, dance, done. And then turn 2, you're like, oh, I got 4 foot units that can be danced.
Yeah.
And advance like 6 more squares. And then you're like, shit, she's all the way behind. What do I do now? So at that point, you kind of have to improvise a little bit or plan ahead. I'm pretty sure I know which one Max is going to go for. I guess you could dance for like people like Arden and Azel next turn, but that's just not nearly as good. So you just always got to make sure she's on her way somewhere where you can use her or warp her around or give her the leg ring once you're able to. Give her the night ring. She's like the best candidate for night ring because the thing with the night ring is you want to use it on high movement units.
Yeah.
But all those have Kanto already, so it's pointless. Night ring gives you Kanto, so you want to give it to her because she's by far the best user of it. It's kind of tricky to get on her because it costs a lot of gold, so she's a good candidate to get these villages around the place where she joins. Arenaing is kind of tough, like you said. She's actually, I think she's the single hardest character to get to level 30 besides maybe Quan.
Yeah, I read about that actually. She is really hard to get to 30.
Yeah, but she can do arena things, I guess. And that allows some funny stuff sometimes, I guess. But yeah, it's really tricky to use because her combat is so horrendous. Like, holy shit, she has no damage at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still definitely a 5-star unit. And also, some funny thing about Sylvia is if she's in the castle and your units have moved, she can dance for all of them at once. Like, literally all your entire army can be moved again, which is useful sometimes in like casual playthroughs.
Yeah, I mean, what I could do is if I have a lot of people staff botting back at the castle, I could leave Sylvia there and I could like dance for all of them and staff bot with multiple guys.
All of them.
All of them. Here we go. Beowulf. He is a sword knight. So,
next move.
So Beowulf, what can we say about Beowulf? He has a sword and he's on a horse. But he's on a horse! That's nice, right? He comes with Pursuit and Accost. His growth rates are pretty mediocre. His B rank in sword, so he can use the Brave Sword, which is nice. I mean, he's a guy on a mount, which is always nice. But out of the mounted gang, though, maybe like with the exception of Alec and Noish, he is one of the least impressive of the bunch. Because swords are good, don't get me wrong, but Beowulf's stats aren't fantastic. He does struggle to like one-round guys unless he procs Accost, in which he will probably one-round, but it's not something you can rely on. I think that he's, you know, I'm not gonna say no to another mount, and with the Brave Sword that we can probably like sell to him in the next chapter, which he can definitely afford since we dumped 10,000 gold on him, he can probably clear the whole thing, I think, because the Brave Sword's just so ridiculously good. So I give Beowulf 3 out of 5 stars. He's a nice mounted unit, he's alright, but he's not fantastic.
Yeah, I like Beowulf. He's actually pretty good when he promotes because he gets adapts from his class changes, like Wolves.
Yeah.
Except he has also his Pursuit and a cost, so he's gonna attack a lot. He basically gets like the Midir Jamke kind of package. But until then, he's kind of mediocre, I want to say, because if you don't give him like the Hero Sword, is pretty mediocre, and I mean the Hero Sword makes everyone good. So
He uses it well though.
yeah, it's nice for the arena clearance at least, but he has some trouble getting in gold, for example, because he hasn't been able to get villages up to now.
Yeah.
He sucks, so he just has 12,000. Okay. And he does double pretty reliably. It's just, amount with Pursuit is just always so nice. You can't go wrong with it, but it's kind of hard to get him to level 20 if you don't put a lot of effort behind it. So it just adds another guy to your roster. Just like Alec, Noish, Midir, Ayra, Holyn, Jamke, etc. You just gotta feed gold and feed XP all the time, and that's kind of annoying, but I mean, I still think it's a 3-star unit just because mounted unit with swords and pursuit, you can't go wrong with that. It's still pretty good.
Yeah.
It's just nothing spectacular or anything. Yeah, it's like the worst magic in the game, I think.
Yeah. Bad mage dad.
Yeah, not a good mage killer, not at all. Yeah.
Pitfall daddy.
I mean, he's not pitfall daddy. He's a pretty good dad.
Oh yeah,
actually.
yeah. We're gonna pair him with Lachesis.
Yep. He has a talk with her.
Yeah, he does. He gives her some stats, which is nice. Say hello to Erin, the Pegasus Knight. So Erin's the only flyer in the first generation, and that makes her insanely useful. She can do things that nobody else can, like fly over mountains. There's some villages that only she can get. Just overall a really, really handy unit to have around. Kanto is just super nice for Pegasus Knights because they can move in, hit, and then move out and back again. She has B rank in swords and lances, which means that she can use both prey weapons in the arena, so she shouldn't be too hard for her to get kills in the arena. In fact, I often experience that she clears the whole thing, like with a little bit of luck, but she can clear the whole thing with just her stem lance. But you can give her the hero lance if she really struggles. When she promotes, she can wield stays, which is insanely useful, so that she gets her next 10 levels for free, essentially, as long as she has the gold, which she should have if she amassed enough arena money. Her growth rates are pretty unspectacular, but she comes with 18 speed, so I guess this is another case in favor of basis over growths. And she just doubles everything. And base 11 strength isn't bad either. I would give her maybe a better lance though, because the slim lance doesn't really pack that much of a punch. In the skills department, she only has Pursuit, but it's all she needs, really. I mean, Pursuit's just a good skill, so... I'm on the fence whether or not I should give Erin 4 or 5 stars. I don't feel like she's a 5-star unit, even though she is the only flyer in the game and thus has insane utility, because she just joined, at the end of Chapter 2, so she's not around for all that much. I think if she joined in Chapter 1, she would have been an easy 5-star unit. I think I'm gonna give her a 4 stars for now.
Oh, you really like her. I'm gonna do the weird thing. I think I'll rate her a little bit lower.
Oh.
So... FE4 is by far the worst game to be a flyer in for a couple of reasons. One of them is that the roads that are all over the place.
Yeah.
Normally a flyer gets way ahead of the pack because they can fly over terrain and stuff. But over normal terrain they have the same movement as everyone else in the GBA farmers, for example. But in this game she doesn't get the road bonuses that other characters get. So where someone like Sigurd can move 12 tiles on the roads, she still only moves 8 before promotion, which is kind of garbage. It's still pretty good. It's better than a foot unit, but she still falls behind a little bit. So her main perk is going elsewhere. And then the other thing that flyers have in other games that don't really exist in this game is side objectives. There's not really all that many of them. There's a couple of villages out there, but everyone can visit every village in the game, not just Erin. So there's no village that only she can save. There's some she can get to earlier, I guess, but most of the time it's not very useful. She cannot rescue drop anyone because that's not in this game. So there's just not a whole lot of flyer utility in this game. And she has the bow weakness still to cope with, which is kind of annoying because if there is a bow in an enemy army, she just cannot fight that army, period. So it's they just have an instant critical on her. She usually just dies in one hit to bows, which just kind of sucks.
Yeah.
I do really like her combat though. B in swords and B in lances gives her insane versatility. 18 speed is insane. She does clear the arena pretty easily. The slim lance is actually pretty good. It's stronger than the iron lance, or just as strong but just lighter. I forgot, but it's pretty good. Hero lance is obviously better because with pursuit it just hits 4 times. Her combat is no problem. She's a little bit fragile maybe, but it's pretty decent. It's just being a flyer just isn't all that great in this game, and she has low availability. And for that reason, I can't really give her 5 stars. No way. Maybe 4 star. I'm leaning towards 3, which might be a little bit low. Another thing to add is after promotion she gets added actually. Not that great because she's already usually using hero weapons anyway, but I guess it's nice. She's also pretty good with magic swords after promotion because she has a pretty good magic promotion bonus.
Yeah.
And there's a village somewhere that gives her magic, I think. So I forgot if that's really the case. I think in chapter 3 there's 2 villages that gives stat bonuses. I think one of them is magic. I'm not sure. But she's pretty good with the magic ring and the magic sword too. That's really nice. She's pretty good against the wind mages in that chapter. Maybe 4 stars is okay for her actually. It's just I don't think flying is all that good. I just think Erin's stats in general are just pretty good. But I don't think it's because of flying that I rate her really highly. I can't decide between 3 or 4 stars really. It's kind of tricky because I think she's better than freaking Alec and Noish and Beowulf. But I don't think she's as good as like Lex and Quan, who I think we gave 4 stars. I'm gonna go with 4 for now, I guess. But she's closer to 3 star for me than a 5 star.
Right. Let's begin by talking about Bridget. So Bridget.
She's not base level. Oh my god.
Oh no. So Bridget, I really like Bridget. She's cool. She's the original blonde sniper. So Bridget is another character with major holy blood. She comes with Ulur holy blood, which means she can use the legendary bow Ufel, previously known as Ichubal. Her bases are really good. Base 20 strength, base 21 speed. I mean, she pretty much kills anything she attacks. The downside, she kills... I lost... I lost something. The downside...
I thought you were like smashing your keyboard to like calculate how many enemies she kills.
No. The downside is
like
she usually kills 1 enemy on enemy phase, and that's about it. No, sorry, she kills 1 enemy on
phase then.
She kills 1 enemy on player phase, and then she usually doesn't do anything. She's like a much improved Jamke, and you can kind of see that Jamke isn't really all that great. She will like blaze through the arena if you use the Ufel, which is kind of nice, so she can sort of generate a lot of experience by simply clearing the gauntlet every single time. But I don't know. She's just like, she's really good, but no horse. And that just puts her so behind. She's also bow-locked. But I will say that, like, she might just be one of the best non-mounted units that you get in the first generation. At least in terms of sheer firepower. The Ufel does have some issues, though. It's a little bit inaccurate at 70%, so you can sometimes miss with it, especially in the arena. But aside from that, yeah, she's pretty good, pretty reliable. We're going to pair up with Dew. And I don't really know what to rate her. I think 3 out of 5 stars might be a little too high because she joins pretty late and she's footlocked. I don't think 2 out of 5 stars is like fair for her, so I think I'm just gonna say 3 out of 5.
I see. Yeah, this is like the biggest disparity between her raw combat potential, like how good she is in arena, and compared to just how bad she is in the practical sense, because we have a sniper with no mount that joins at the end of chapter 3. That's just so bad. That's horrible. That's so bad. That's so unbelievably bad at everything in life, which really sucks, because Inui actually had her at the top of his tier list pretty much.
Of course
like,
he did.
All the way at the top. But I have her at like near the bottom. There's people who think she's actually the worst unit in Gen 1, tied with Jamke maybe. So I also have a hard time rating her, because yeah, she is pretty good with the Ufel when fighting things, but she doesn't fight very much. She never gets to it. Her bases are good, like I'll admit that much, but everything else about her is just freaking trash. Holy shit. Ishifal also doesn't really help her much, if that makes sense.
No.
Because her stats are like good already, so she would kill most things with the silver bow anyway. Like next time you just fight Pegasus Knights, so those die anyway. Like whatever, it doesn't matter very much. I'm torn as well, but I'm torn between 1 and 2 stars actually, which is really strange for a divine weapon user.
Wow.
But I'll be like a little bit kind. I'll say 2 stars.
Yeah, I would actually make the argument that sometimes the killer bow is better on Bridget than the Ufel, because the killer bow has 100 hit versus the Ufel 70. Yes. And the killer bow, like just having that extra accuracy might just be better sometimes.
Yeah, Ufel, like it just gives like strength and it compensates its speed bonus, like the weight a little bit, but it still doesn't give her any extra. It's kind of a weird weapon. But the strength is like totally overkill. It's already 30 might, so it's like whatever. It also gives the life skill, which is completely
yeah, it doesn't really matter.
Rather. Yeah.
So here we go. Let's talk about Tailtiu.
Yay.
Tailtiu! Wow, level 3. Ugh.
More levels. Yay.
Yeah, she's got a lot of levels to go. I guess that's cool, I guess. So, Tailtiu, first for each girl you get. She's got minor turtle blood that allows her to...
Dual wields axes, because she has 5,000
She dual wields tomes, see? She has a Thorin in one hand and Thunder in the other.
What the chapter title's gonna be. Jesus Christ.
She, so she has... Her minor turtle blood allows her to use Thorin at base, which is really nice. It has 20 might. It's a really good tome. So Tailtiu, you might look at her and you may go, what? This unit isn't very good. 20% magic growth, and she has no pursuit. What on earth can make this... What on earth can redeem this character? Well, one little skill called Wrath. When she's below 50%, she always crits. This means essentially that she does 60 raw magic damage when she's below half health, which is enough to one-shot most units Though eventually units will sort of scale up and she won't be able to do it safely anymore. And of course, if she takes a hit on player phase, she will die. So you need to be... It's sort of set up in this chapter where you can take a hit from the pirates, and then you can use her to just one-shot all the other pirates that come in her way. But it is kind of risky to walk around with her on half health in other maps. But her base stats are very good for her level. Like, 10 magic and 10 speed for a level 3 unit. Azel was not this good when he was level 3, let me just tell you that. She promotes to Mage Fighter, I think?
Yeah,
which isn't a great class. I think she can use swords and staves, which is nice. So at least she gets her final 10 levels for free, which is cool. And because she has Wrath, she can just cheese the arena. As long as... There's some arena fights she can't do if she goes up against a unit that's faster than her and has a 100% chance to hit. They will go first and then just bonk her. But against nearly every other single arena enemy, she can just re-enter the arena at 1 health and just bonk them with a Thoron. So that's kind of nice. What do we rate Tailtiu, though? I don't think rating her any higher than 3 stars is fair. I might even say she's a 2-star unit. But I think I'm going to rate her 3 stars for now, because she can do some cool stuff.
You want to know Azel's bases?
What?
10 magic, 9 speed.
Oh. Well, ignore me then.
FE4 bases in general are pretty high compared to like GBA games, so you can't really tell how good a unit is based off of that kind of stuff. But yeah, Tailtiu I think overall is pretty underwhelming, but Wrath is really fun to make use of sometimes. It's a very fun character to use, but not very good, I think. Like, she just has a lot of trouble leveling up. Despite the low base level, she still doesn't get EXP fast enough to like catch up within any amount of time. Like, some people would maybe call her an edged character, but she isn't really. This is kind of whatever. He's fun, but he's not very good. I think I said that 3 times already, but you get the point.
Yeah.
30 attack is very high. She 2-shots most things, even without Wrath, so she could do good chip damage. But if you're positioned to let her chip in a ranked run, it's probably better to just let her kill something.
Yeah.
You should definitely try to get as many kills on her in this particular area as possible, because it's like her best chance at XP ever. And after this, it's like just the arena, and that's about it. Once she does promote, she can use stabs and get to 30 pretty easily, but that's going to take 17 levels. I don't think you'll be able to do it before chapter 5, and at that point it's going to be you're going to have to warp like 15 times or something to get her to 30, but
yeah,
if you can get her promoted before chapter 5 starts, I think you have a good shot at getting her to 30. Before that, not really. Yeah, I rate her like... she was in my top 15 like favorite bad units to use, but I still don't think... I would never give her anything above 2 stars. I'm going to go 2 stars.
Alright.
She's closest to 1 again, so yeah. That just shows how bad I think she is, but she's really fun.
Yeah.
I love her.
Then we have Claude. Haha, insert upside down meme here. So, Claude's another Major Blood character. He's got Major Brage Blood, which allows him to use the Valkyria staff. Back at the home castle, you can use it to revive 1 dead unit, which is alright, I guess, for casual players. I don't think I'll ever be able to take advantage of this, because it essentially means I'm going to have to lose someone, which I don't want to do. So he comes as a level 20 High Priest. His bases are pretty okay. 21 magic is really good. But he's, for the most part, he's just a stat bot. He doesn't have any skills. But he can still fight decently in the arena, actually, just thanks to his high magic. So I don't think he can clear the gauntlet, but he might be able to get pretty far in it. He comes with a lot of gold too, which is nice. And thanks to the Fortify staff that he comes with, like, Claude is just like, the 10 levels that he gets, he'll just get for free. Like, probably easiest character in Gen 1 to cap out. Because you just spam Fortify like 10 times and that gives you like 800 experience or something. So that's just, yeah, pretty easy. Like, use his Fortify and you'll get him up to level 28. So, yeah, I don't know, what do we rate Claude? He's just a staff bot. 2 stars, probably? Yeah, especially for me, since I can't really use his rank run really well. I can't use the Valkyria very well, I mean.
Wait, so you're giving Tailtiu 3, you're giving Bridget 3, but you're giving Claude 2? What the hell's wrong with you, man? Claude is better. I think he's better, because he's not a liability in any sort of way, he just sort of is there. The 5 move kind of sucks, but he can still use physics and restore range and stuff, and Fortify, of course.
Yeah, restore staff being ranged is very good for him.
And, I don't know, his stats are pretty okay. He does have Pursuit, and he's kind of frail physically, so that kind of sucks. It makes him harder to use in the arena. But at least he has enough starting gold to just get to 30 without any help, because he just, like I said, he just used Fortify 10 times, he's at like 28.5, and he just repairs it and does like 3 more uses, then he's done. Like, it's the easiest thing ever. But I'll give him like 3 stars. I don't think he's great or anything, but I definitely think he's less of a liability than Tailtiu and Bridget. I think he's much more useful than them.
Yeah, probably. And those are actually all the characters in the first generation, so...
Yeah.